a lot of people watch it now. Now I'm kind of nervous. So it's all about the trim wheel. With the trim wheel right here, you can manage the flight of the plane to a fine degree as opposed to a gross degree when using the yoke. So we've got the ILS beam right here. We've caught the glide slope. We also have the runway right here. We can see a little bit of white and a little bit of red. That's optimal. We're bringing the plane around. We want to do a quick checklist. Flaps down, gear down, brake off for right now. We're going to be flying about, I don't know, 10 or 15, maybe 20 knots above stall speed. And we can see the stall speed on the bottom indicated here. Right, exactly. A little bit of trim does everybody good. Dane flats everybody. So we're going to drop the nose by dropping the speed, by dropping the power. We're also going to trim up a little bit. A little more speed, a little more power to keep the glide slope. We're also going to trim up a little bit more. You can hear the trim going up and down. When you're landing and you have the plane on autopilot, it'll do trim as well. I'm going to turn the volume up on my headset so I can hear the plane a little bit more. So you can also see the trim tab over here. So right now you can see the yoke's not moving at all, and yet the plane is descending, and we're out of the glide slope, but we're pretty close. We're going to let the nose drop. We're going to pull the throttle back. We're going to trim up a little bit. A lot. Give it a little bit of up yoke. There we go. Now we caught the glide slope. You can see one red, two white. That's optimal. Our speed's bleeding off, which is good. A little bit of turn in here, a little bit of aileron. I think we have a little bit of crosswind, but not very much. We're a little on the low side, but that's kind of the way I like to land. We're bringing it in. We want the plane to be dropping, and then right at the last moment, when the plane's still going down,
50, 40, 30,
20,
10.
Pull the throttle back all the way, let it settle. We bounce it a little bit. Now we're going to trim down. We're going to pull our flaps back to about 5 for takeoff again. Our flaps are still coming around as we see up here. Now we can throttle it up. Whoops, we're going to keep one flap down, and then we're back up in the air. Feel free to ask any questions, guys. Whoops, I gave it too much power.
400.
Back up. Feel free to post questions if you guys have any questions.
1000.
That's a little bit of a high climb there. Trim down. You can hear the trim work again.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
Do you guys have any questions, comments? Dane, do you have anything to add, baby? Looks like I'm typing. Oh, I do not have a pilot license. I wish I did. I should have one. I started flying remote control gliders when I was in kindergarten. I should have one, but I don't. Let me see. I don't know where the airport is. There's the airport. Hey, Dane, have you ever seen a military landing with a big plane? Yeah, that's pretty hardcore. Have you guys ever stalled the 737? I was showing the guys before how you can stall it. So what we're going to do is we're going to back the throttle all the way back. We're going to let the speed bleed off. We're going to put some flap down so we have a little bit of slower speed here. Yes, a corkscrew landing. So cool. And we're just going to fly it right to the edge of stall. So right now, we're going to put a little bit of nose up. Well, a lot of nose up. The speed's bleeding off. Slower and slower and slower. 140. We're going to throttle up a little bit, give ourselves a little bit of insurance. Let it bleed off a little bit more. Pull the yoke back a little bit more. Oops. Pull it back way back, and now we'll get a stick shaker. Airspeed low. Stick shaker. Nose down. Let gravity pull it back. And then we'll bring it back. Hey Dane, have you ever done a corkscrew landing with the 727? So we're gonna bring it around and we're gonna try a corkscrew landing because now I'm showing off. So Dane, you brought a bunch of people to the party. Do any of you guys have any questions? I'm not a pro here. I've just been doing this for a while. Oh, homie, don't play that? Okay, here we go. So for playing cockpit only, we're gonna fly around and we're gonna see where the runway is. So what they do is they do about 4,000 feet. So we're gonna fly 4,000 feet, runway heading, and then we're gonna fly a corkscrew. Actually, wait a second. Yeah, they fly about 4,000 feet. So we'll fly back around. We're going to slow the plane down a little bit. I believe they use just about full flaps and full speed brakes. So I'm kind of concerned about this right here because that's where you brake flaps. We're going to put everything out, so we're flying the plane dirty. We're flying the plane over the edge of the runway.
Bank angle.
So we're just going to drop a ton of altitude right here. We're going to throw the speed brakes out just because I'm concerned about losing a flap. Oh, we're probably way on the other side of it though. A lot of what they use is centrifugal force to keep the plane in the air. 2,000 feet, 160, 180 degrees, 1,700 feet, so we're still dropping altitude. 219, 240. Put the speed brake back in. Hey, what do you know? I want to see someone do this on VATSIM. A little bit of throttle, let the throttle back. A little more throttle. And right now we're kind of really flying on the flaps because we have the flaps out really hardcore.
200.
And then bring it in. We have generous elevator up.
50.
We're at 120 knots right now because we have a lot of flaps out. We're going to go back into a neutral trim position because we're way up high. We're going to pull flaps way back up to 5. Now, you don't want to do this while in transition, but we'll do it anyway. We're going to go for V1.
Too low terrain. 400.
And climb out.
1,000.
And we're back up in the air. Hey Dane, what do you think? There you go, baby. That's how it's done. So anyway, you should try that on a 727. You'd probably die. I think a lot of these other planes are designed to do stuff like that. Hey, thanks. Right? The C5 Galaxy, you can do the same thing with the C5 Galaxy, and in fact, I think there's videos online of them doing it. There's a guy that's gonna do a landing here in a little bit. I want to watch him. I haven't seen him post anything. Wow. So right now I'm doing 260 knots, which is not a good idea with flaps out. So I don't want to break flaps. So I'm putting the speed brakes out. We're going to trim up, slow the plane down. And then we're going to catch the ILS and just put it in this time. You guys have any questions, comments, suggestions? Maybe dead stick at this time? Yeah, you just kind of play around with it and you're able to learn what it can do and learn what it can't do. And it's not like a fighter plane, but you know what the capabilities are. So I was showing this to him before. Right now we've got the plane trimmed out. You can see the yoke is not moving. The trim's not moving. There's nothing on the MCP, so we're not flying autopilot. The plane's just very well trimmed. Now the nose is starting to come down a little bit, but not very much. Here comes the runway, and we're just going to run a short approach. Flap out. Every time we put the flaps up, flaps down, the plane wants to nose up and slow down. He wants to get into a neutral position of flight. So we're a little high on the glide slope, but we're going to kind of bring it in. Trim up again. More flap. Make sure the gear's down. That's always important. Trim down. We're way high. But again, we're going to pull the throttle back. We're going to put the speed brakes out. $150 knots.
1,000 feet stabilized, Mr. Burchell.
More flaps. Here's something you can also do. You can slip it. Well, that didn't work so well. I was trying to slip it sideways so we could use the body of the plane to slow it down. But we're probably going too slow already. So we're right at stall speed right here. We're going to trim up again. A little bit more throttle. Throttle's going to bring the nose up. 130.
200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20.
Oops, we floated it.
10.
Power back. We're way high. We floated it. Oops. We got cocky that time. Oh, this is not good. So we're taking off with no flaps, which means we're going to have a higher angle of attack and a faster speed, which that's how people die.
Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain.
400.
Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain.
Right. On target. Stay on target. Hey Dane, if you want some fun, you can always try pattern with the 737 or with the 727 or whichever one you want over this little airport over here. It's Crevecourt Airport. Let me see. Just see it over here. See it? We'll fly past it. It's good practice. It's like kind of a 737 landing on a hangar. Or not a hangar, but landing on a aircraft carrier. I'm gonna put the wheels up. Right? So pattern's the way you get good. So this airport right here is 1H0 or Crevecourt. So that's, hold on a second, that's Crevecourt right there. I forgot how long it is, but it's pretty small. We don't have much fuel left. That's not good. We're gonna have to stick it in this next one. So we're gonna have to stick it at Crevecourt. And this is just me showing off right now, but you know, practice makes perfect. We're gonna slow the plane down again. This time we're gonna put brakes 2, probably brakes 3. We want to be pretty aggressive about this landing. We're dropping the nose. Our speed's coming off. Well, our speed's not coming off. Throttle up. Not throttle up, but sorry, trim up. We have no ILS here, so this is just a straight visual approach. We're going to bring the plane down to a, I don't know, kind of a minimum speed. So we look for our landmark. We see the lake over there. We're high. I can tell because of landmarks.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
This isn't good. Oh, we're dropping altitude. That's good.
1,000.
1,000 feet, stabilized, Mr. Birch, altitude set.
So 135, that's good. We're going to come over the tip of the lake, and we can see the airport over to our left. Trim up. Fly the plane in a neutral fashion, where the plane is maintaining altitude and maintaining speed just by using trim and throttle. Drop the nose a little bit. Pull the throttle back. We're going to put the throttle back up a little bit. You can see the yoke coming back.
500.
And this time we're going to probably drop it right at the end of the runway, and we're going to be aggressive about the speed brakes and aggressive about everything.
300. 200.
So power up a little bit. It's kind of like an aircraft carrier landing. Power up.
100.
Power back.
40.
Power back, let it drop. Get the thrust reversers ready. Neutral, thrust reversers all the way up. Brake on. So we got a little room to spare. Right, exactly. Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting to do this. So it's a kind of a really tiny place, as you can see. All right. Hey, you too, Dane. Hey, thanks for dropping by. Thanks for dropping by. We'll talk soon, okay? And I'm going to sign out here in a second. Cheers. Alright, if you guys like what you see, subscribe. Now that Dane's gone, ha ha ha. But if you guys have any questions too, feel free to reach out, because this is kind of the way we learn this stuff. Oh, this is a horrible taxiing job. Anyway, I'm going to sign off here too. Park it right here. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you guys again.